Hi, and welcome to Awakened Minds, where we embark on a journey at the intersects of science and spirituality. Join me as I explore the profound connections between these two seamlessly different realms, uncovering insights that challenge conventional wisdom and expand our understanding of the universe and ourselves. In each episode, I'll dive into some unique aspects of scientific discoveries or spiritual principles, from quantum physics to mindfulness practices, from neuroscience to ancient philosophies. Awaken Minds is your guide to exploring the frontier of human consciousness and unlocking the mysteries of existence. Prepare to awaken your mind, expand your perspective, and join the conversation as we bridge the gap between science and spirituality. Welcome to Awaken Minds. I'm your host, Tiffany Clark. Welcome to another episode. Today I'm going to be going into mindset shifting and bringing in the alchemy of science and spirituality to really dive into this in a different perspective. So we think of mindset, we all have a default mindset that we fall into. So that could be positive, negative, neutral, apathetic. It could be whatever you notice is your default go-to when you're thinking about specific things. When we're wanting to change our life and go into a different direction, we really need to harness our mindset. When we want to shift, we need to look at what thought processes do I need to start thinking about myself, my life, my trajectory, my goals, my belief systems, really what is the mindset that I'm embracing when we're moving forward. So with our mindset, a lot of times, if it's in a negative space, we could be stuck in a place in the past. So our mindset's consistently thinking of all the things that have happened to us rather than the present and where we're going. So when we want to shift our mindset, there are a few things that we can do to really harness this. And I want to go into the science a little bit and the spirituality side of things. So scientifically speaking, I want to bring in more like psychology based. When we look at shifting mindset, I know I talk about this a lot, but neuroplasticity. This is where those automatic thought patterns, those ingrained processes of the way we're thinking can be changed. That doesn't mean that we're stuck with a specific mindset for the rest of our life. It just takes time to rewire those neural pathways. So think of it as a muscle. Just like you have to go to the gym every day to work out and strengthen your muscles, the same thing happens to our mindset. So with our mindset, we need to first tune into what is the consistency and the consistent mindset that I'm sitting in. What does that look like? Is that something I want to maintain, change, shift? Where are you within your relationship to your mindset as well? Then from there, you can really navigate where those subtle shifts need to occur. Sometimes the subtle shifts are about our self-perception, they're about life, they're about other people. Just noticing within yourself where your mindset gets tripped up, where you feel stuck or frustrated, or where things aren't working out. So when we're looking at mindset as well, we need to find tools and techniques that work and align for us. So one thing I work a lot with clients is positive affirmations. This can be one tool to help shift our mindset on more of the psychology side of things. So when you are utilizing positive affirmations, one thing I always like to first teach people is make sure it's realistic to you. Now, why do I say that? Let's say you want to shift your mindset into increased self-confidence, but maybe you don't believe that. So if you're telling yourself a positive affirmation of, I'm confident, I have more confidence, your brain's going to register that as not a truth for you because you don't believe it. Now, when it comes to positive affirmations, we need to align to something to shift our mindset where it feels true for us. So I'm learning to be more confident, or I'm stepping into understanding what confidence really means for me. Tuning into the language we use can really help shift and empower our mindset. So language, positive affirmations that are not just positive, but they feel aligned and true to you. So I know there's a lot of positive affirmations out there in the world. And some may align with you and some may not. But first, finding what feels like a truth for you, or acknowledging, one, where's your mindset, where's your belief about yourself, and then seeing what is a stepping stone positive affirmation to help you get into the next level. So it might not look like, I'm fully confident in myself, or I'm completely confident. That might feel too unrealistic. But if we go into a space where I'm learning to understand what confidence is, that might be like one step. And then once that feels ingrained and true, and when you think about it, your thought process and your mindset are like, yes, I got this, like, I'm learning this, then you can go into the next one of, I'm understanding what confidence means at a deeper level, or I'm stepping into my confidence, whatever next level, for example, resonates for you. So positive affirmations are a good tool for mindset shifting. And then acknowledging language. So I want to go a little bit more into language. When we're communicating with ourselves, a lot of times if we're maybe in a more negative mindset, we can notice the internal dialogue is maybe self-critical, we're degrading ourselves, the language that we're using, the wording, those tones, all can go into effect of behavior, mood, overall well-being, our beliefs and our ability to move forward in actionable steps. So utilizing language as a tool can be transformational. Now, when we're focusing on mindset shifting, acknowledging where is your current mindset and what are the type of things that you're saying to yourself. What is the story? What's the language? What's the narrative that's consistently going on in your mind? Because in order to change a mindset, we need to first know what the story is. And then we can shift and change it to a different narrative. Again, just like positive affirmations, we need to make sure that narrative changes in a realistic way where we believe it and we can believe it. So let's say you're a super negative person. You're constantly stuck in this negative loop. Maybe you acknowledge that. And maybe your negative mindset is, I can never get out of this, or this is just who I am. Now, if that's the narrative, the belief, what's consistently circulating within your mind, that will be predominantly true over and over again. Because within every second, you are creating your reality based on what you're telling yourself. Now, I can go into quantum physics about that one on a total side tangent. That is really one of my deepest passions, is understanding more of the quantum world, consciousness, and the influence of those two elements coming together. Now, it's a relatively new study, area of research, but if we want to go into the observer effect, I love this so much. So if you haven't heard about it before, the observer effect looks at light particles getting shot through a lens, and I'm probably butchering this a little bit. I need to read it and make sure. But when these photons are observed, they change from a wave to a particle. Now, what's odd about this is the mere act of observation of light photons changes it. So if we're looking at the subatomic world, we're looking at the quantum world, that is super freaky. But I think it's in a really cool way. So the observer effect in quantum mechanics, it's got a lot of stipulation around it. It's not really clear. There's a lot of different theories. So I'll just kind of preface that there's a lot of controversy. There's what I'm looking for. A lot of controversy kind of around the observer effect. But at the quantum level in the world, there's still a lot of things that we don't fully understand, and it's weird. Like particle entanglement, spooky action at a distance, all these different things that we don't fully understand. So my passion is looking at a deeper level of understanding what are the influences of consciousness in the quantum world, and how is there a possible connection? So I'm not making any claims that there is, just a question in my research is there a connection of some kind. So we look at thoughts formulating our environment. There's a little side note of the quantum world, but think in terms as well of shaping your behavior, your decisions. So if you're looking at the world through a negative lens and mindset, what do you think your brain is going to pick up around you? More than likely, it's going to be all the things that are negative that are reinforcing that narrative and story that you're telling yourself. So the words that we use about where we're at in life are really important because it's then going to influence our perception about what it is that we're able to see that's occurring within the world around us. So again, like language, we need to use the tools in a way that feels aligned to us, like I'm learning to observe the world in a different way. I'm beginning to see one good thing within my day rather than maybe a negative, fully embodied negative mindset. Maybe that's all you're focusing on, is they're only negative. So shifting your mindset, we have a few tools that I've gone over. Noticing language, positive affirmations, go a little bit into the observer effect, how our thoughts have the potential to influence the physical world around us at the quantum level, but then also moving the quantum world, it shapes our perception and what our brains are able to pick up in the world and environment around us. So what system is getting activated in the brain? And that is the reticular activating system. So you are telling your brain that this is something that's important, so whatever that story or narrative is, that mindset, and it then searches for all the information around you externally to reinforce that. So in order to shift your mindset, you need to first shift what is it that you really want to believe about yourself in your life. What's the story? What's the narrative? Because the more you step into learning how to change that, the more then you're going to pick up different things in your environment that make that true. So I like to use this analogy that the world around us is completely neutral stimuli. So what that means is that it's not good, it's not bad. It's neutral. It's the story we tell ourselves about the perception and things that we're seeing and the labels or identity we associate and connect to that. And I'll add, that does not mitigate that there is bad things that do happen and occur in the world. What I'm talking about is mindset. So when I'm, for example, saying there's only horrible people in the world, just for example, our brain is going to totally dismiss all the good people, and it's going to hone in and hyperfixate and focus on all of the bad people we encounter, all the bad people we see, all the bad people that, show up. Because our brain wants to reinforce with evidence the story we're telling ourselves. So to shift your mindset, you got to shift into this space of what is it that you want to believe about the world around you, about people, about yourself, and begin to train your brain to look for those things. Begin to shift into this space of like a game. Show me how good it can get today, universe, or show me where there's good in the day. If you not want to connect to the universe, source, God, higher self, brain, whatever language of communication you want to have within yourself, of looking for information outside of you that reinforces the new place that you want to step into. So now I'm going to go a little bit into the spirituality side of things. So with spirituality and mindset, I like to bring in energetics. Energetics is another passion of mine as Reiki master. And when we think in terms of energy as well, certain things have an energy exchange, and our mindset as well can have an energy exchange. So if we're in a consistent negative mindset, think in terms of energy. If you were a power tower emitting a frequency, what do you feel that frequency would be if you are stuck in more of a negative mindset? Chances are it's probably maybe a lower frequency or vibration. Now, we want to think in terms of physics or energy, like attracts like. So we may then be aligning ourselves energetically to different situations and scenarios that are in tune with the frequency. If we're a powerhouse, tower emitting a specific frequency that is then coming in alignment with us. Now, if I want to shift my mindset, this is where we're using language to use it as a stepping stone, we need to learn ways to emit a different frequency. So in energetic side of things, heart-centered communication, love, gratitude are all different frequencies than, for example, frustration, grief, anger. So if you're able to somehow get yourself into a space of gratitude, maybe doing a gratitude journal or just looking for the things around you, that's going to give off a completely different frequency. Again, self-love or heart-centered communication, this is where we're coming in from a space of deep self-love or love for the world around us. That is also a different space and frequency than the other ones I gave out, for example. So if you're this tower, check in with yourself. What is the frequency you feel maybe you're giving off? What is that alignment occurring within you? Does that alignment feel like it's in a good space and it's aligning to good things that could be a vibrational frequency and match? Or does that feel like you're emitting from a space of maybe more of the negative, and your mindset that you're projecting out is not one that's really aligned to where you want to be? So this is just an example for frequencies and energy. I really like to, again, go back into physics. We are all made up of energy. Everything around us is energy. It's vibrating at a specific frequency that makes things look solid to us. Everything, though, around us is vibrating at specific frequencies and levels of energy. So when I think and talk about energetics, especially from more the spiritual side of things, there is a connection that can occur between the science and world of spirituality. Now, this world is still kind of coming together in understanding where these connection points are, and it's a relatively new field of research and study, but there are these connection points. So one connection point that I personally believe in, and that's why I'm researching it, is the quantum world, the language and key between these two spaces. So again, thinking in terms of energy or frequency, we can go into the spirituality side of things, and there's Reiki, and there's healing energy, and there's clearing imbalances out of the chakras in your body and your mind. But then we look at the science side of things, what's actually happening. What's happening is we're shifting a frequency, we're channeling in and clearing the energetic centers of the body. We're tuning the body, mind, soul, spirit to a different frequency. Maybe that frequency is balance, ease, it's removing the stress, removing anxiety. So not only with energetics, but I want to bring in mindfulness and meditation as well. So if we look in ancient traditions, this was preached for many, many years that this was beneficial. And some of those practices were looked at as unscientific. It was just kind of like, yeah, okay, that works for you guys, but there's no basis behind this. Where now there's actual studies that meditation, mindfulness, practices that really help just tune into the present moment physically changes the structure of your gray matter of your brain. And this enhances memory, empathy, and it's wonderful for stress regulation and stress reduction. So again, these fields are relatively still new. The research has probably been going on for meditation and mindfulness practices much longer than some of the other areas. But there's now evidence supporting that these ancient traditions are beneficial to our overall well-being, our brain health, our ability to tap into different levels of awareness and consciousness and understanding within ourselves. So again, if we go into the other side of spirituality, honing in and tuning into your true authentic self. So maybe that's doing meditation, connecting to your higher self. What does the energy and frequency of that space within you feel like versus where you're at right here in the moment where maybe you have a negative perspective or mindset? So if you want to shift your mindset, tapping into these different energetic spaces of where you want to see yourself. We can use the power of imagination and visualization to really tune our energy and our minds into a different version of ourselves that we want to be or step into. So if you can imagine and connect to maybe the version of you that has the most amazing, optimistic, positive mindset, or they're in this amazing space that you just see yourself and want to be there. A lot of times that version of you is thinking different thoughts, they're behaving in different ways, they're doing things different than where you are right here in this moment. So by visualizing and using your imagination to tap into that version, you can rewire the structure of your brain by harnessing that power of your imagination. Now, I'm using that specifically because when we're imagining things and visualizing them, our brain cannot tell the difference between what's imagined and what's actually happening. So if we are visualizing this other altered version of ourselves, it may be in this positive mindset, the mindset that we want to establish and step into, the more you start to do that, that's actually shifting and changing the neurological structure of your brain. So back to neuroplasticity where I first started. When we have thought processes, I want you to think of it as a single brick. Every single thought we have for mindset, positive or negative or neutral, is a foundational piece or a brick that we are laying down in our brain. The more we think specific thoughts, the more the pathways become stronger and stronger. When we are visualizing a different mindset and different way of being, we are restructuring where those neural pathways are firing and consistently building and going. So every time you're thinking a positive thought, again, back to making sure it's one that feels aligned and authentic to where you're at, the stronger those neural pathways are going to begin to deconstruct and go into where you're visualizing it, where you want to be. Now, why I keep honing in on making sure it's something that's authentic to you and something you believe is that neural pathway is not going to shift and move if you don't believe what you're telling yourself. You need to go back into, again, that self-actualization piece, self-awareness, checking in with yourself of where is it that you, and complete honesty actually, to be complete honesty within yourself, to be able to transform and find those stepping stones to go into a different mindset. So I'm touching base on a lot of different practices and techniques, but really we can hone in on understanding the science of how our brain works and looking at these metaphysical or spiritual concepts that can bring these two worlds together to really help us shift our mindset and way of being. So the more we start to practice integrating these, we're going to be tuning in, which is all I preach, is mind, body, spirit healing. We are more than one dimension. And a lot of times the medical model or the healing model only focuses on one area. So I'll take into example therapy practice because I'm also a licensed therapist. The therapy model often just looks at the mind. What's going on? What are the thought processes? What are the negative life experiences that have brought in this specific mental framework? But it doesn't take into account the energetics or spiritual side of things as well. Because it doesn't do that, a lot of times there's this inability to completely heal or transform the situation or the experience, whatever it is that we are caught up in. So I'll use an example from the practice and some of the clients that I've worked with. So I'm going to use just like a general example, thing that I notice a lot. We have, let's say, a negative past experience that has ingrained a specific mindset about ourselves. Now, we can go in and do the cognitive work and restructuring those neurological pathways, but then the body is speaking in a different way and is still holding the energy and memory of those situations. So the mind may have shifted, but then within the body, there can be a disconnect. So we need to also go into the body and the energy and shift and heal those. So with that practice, there's body somatics or somatic healing techniques. There's tapping techniques. I really love tapping. There is different hypnosis or energy healing techniques. So like I said, I'm also a Reiki energy healing practitioner. So we want to clear the energy out from those past experiences. A lot of times I'll also do hypnosis sessions for people where we go into releasing the deeper subconscious energy and roots from specific situations. So mind, body, and spirit. Another thing I'm trained in is quantum healing hypnosis, and I love this one because this goes into where we go and have communication with the individual's higher self and soul. So in this process, we call forward the higher self and we call in the soul, and we look at what was the purpose of those life experiences. And it is so profound in what comes forward of this was a life lesson about self-forgiveness, this was a life lesson around trust, this was a life lesson around letting go. So there's different lessons and experiences that have come from different situations. And it provides people a deep sense of transformation and relief with understanding of they received something from those experiences. It wasn't something intended to destroy or harm them in any way. It was a life lesson, and they received a lesson, and now they can clear and move on from it. So that is some of the transformational work within the spiritual side of things that has been really amazing and eye-opening to witness that everything within our journey sometimes, even if it's shaping a negative mindset within ourselves, is happening to help us, but it's also a remembering like we can go in and reshape how we're perceiving those situations, how our mindset is towards those specific situations. And by doing that, we can let go of the past and move forward into the space where we really want to be, in that version of ourselves that we really want to step into. So I'm going to wrap up and leave you today with knowing you are a powerful human being. You can shape and transform yourself and your life, your mindset, the way that you see the world. And by harnessing and grasping the scientific side of how our mind works, by bridging it with spiritual concepts, we can come together in healing in mind, body, and spirit. And you have all the tools within you in order to make that transformation occur. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in my next episode. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the fascinating intersects of science and spirituality. I hope today's exploration has sparked new insights and inspired deeper contemplation. If you're interested in diving deeper into these topics and accessing additional resources, I invite you to visit my website at tiffany-clark.com. There you'll find my blog, courses, and ways to connect with a community of like-minded individuals who are also exploring the realms of knowledge and self-discovery. For those of you looking to take their journey to the next level, I'm excited to offer my VIP Quantum Portal Pathway Soul Alignment Coaching Program. In this exclusive 12-week program, we will work together one-on-one to align you with your soul purpose, providing personalized guidance and support to help you achieve your profound transformation. You can apply today at tiffany-clark.com/programs. Remember, the journey towards awakening is ongoing. Let's continue to seek, question, and expand our minds together. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and share with others who may find this topic intriguing. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Reach out to me on social media or email. Thank you again for listening to Awaken Minds. Until next time, may your journey be filled with curiosity and enlightenment.